Speaking of men who love adventure, my next two guests, they have recently just completed a 1,500-mile bike ride from the Jersey Shore to Key West. Now, the first question that popped into my mind when I heard this was, why would anyone want to do this? Well, I soon found out that the answer to that is that this was a journey that they decided to take to honor the life of a very special friend and co-worker. Scott and Vinny, thank you for being on the show with me today.
Thank you, Jenna. Thanks for having us.
All right, first question. How are you two feeling right now?
Much better.
Good.
Much better.
You might not have been feeling that way right when you got back.
Sunday was a different day. Today is definitely much better.
Good, good. All right, let's talk about how this all exactly started.
Well, about 2 years ago, I was getting to retire from the Toms River Police Department in New Jersey, and a fellow detective, Mark Catalano, and I started planning a trip for our retirement, a long-distance bicycle trip to Key West. And it was a dream that we both had, and we had talked about it often. So we planned the trip along with Frank Zingara and Dave McCallum. And shortly before the trip we retired and the trip started, unfortunately Mark passed away. We spoke to his wife, and she felt that it would be an honor if we could continue the trip as planned in his honor, and we did.
Okay, and so this was 2 years ago?
Yes.
So this is the second trip that
So
you're
this is
taking?
the second trip,
Okay.
yes.
But this is your first trip?
My first trip. I'm the newbie. I retired this past summer. Started training with Dave, Frank, and Vinny, and just to get ready, and it was quite a trip.
I can imagine. All right, let's talk about it. How many miles a day would you guys do?
We did anywhere from, our shortest days were about 65 miles.
Yeah.
I think our longest day was 87 miles.
Bad weather, did you run into some?
We were very fortunate where we only had one day of rain. When we did get into Florida around Jacksonville, that's where Hurricane Sandy was pretty much off the coast of Florida. We thought for sure, you know, we'd have to like take our little emergency day we had scheduled off, but it ended up the storm winds became a tailwind for us, and it just kind of pushed us through the northern part of Florida.
Wow. Now, did you guys predict Hurricane Sandy, because you left right at the perfect time?
And actually, we tried to follow the weather with the tropic updates, and everything looked good when we left New Jersey.
And unfortunately, all of that devastation happened. Let's talk about some of the biggest challenges that you guys faced during this bike ride. What would you say were some of the biggest?
For me, they had learned a lot from last year. My bike, even though I didn't bring a tremendous amount of equipment and stuff, I was still popping spokes on my rear tire. So didn't have, you know, everything prepared like I should. So I've hit a lot of bike shops along the way. Ended up in Norfolk, Virginia. We were fortunate, got into one. I had to get a whole new wheel. I think that was probably my most stressful part of it, just praying I didn't, you know, at one point I had 4 spokes all blown off, and it could have just been like like that, like that Subway commercial. I could have been blown tires laying on the side of the road.
But thankfully, you arrived here in one piece.
All made it through.
What about you? Biggest challenge?
Well, before I left New Jersey, I changed the brake pads on my brakes, and I didn't really adjust them right, so when I put the brakes on together, the front would grab more. So I ended up flipping over my handlebars twice.
Oh, no.
That was a bit of a challenge, but luckily I had my helmet, and I got a little scraped up. But I fixed the brakes, and everything was good after that.
All right, and you're here in one piece
I am
too.
here.
All right, guys, what was your favorite part of this trip?
I think for me, the end.
Riding through the Keys is beautiful. I mean, it's really, you know, the people in the central, you know, Atlantic states, the Carolinas, are very nice, but the scenery, you know, for me, just, it wasn't like getting into the Keys. Once we came over the bridge into Key Largo, it was just like being in the Caribbean. It was just great, and that's how I felt last year too. I love it here.
Yeah, there isn't anything like when you first drive into the Keys and you know you're almost here. So
Yeah, exactly.
And you guys had a crowd waiting for you when you arrived, didn't you?
We did. We had our wives that were able to come down and meet us and greet us, and that was part of the deal where they would let us go bike ride for 3 weeks. That they got a little vacation at the end, so they're still with us here now. But they did, when we got to the end of the buoy, they really did get the whole group of people out there to kind of cheer us on, and kind of gave them a little quick short story on what we had done, and the crowd really kind of caught up into our little journey, so to say.
They loved it.
Yeah.
What would your friend say if he saw you, who passed away?
He would be proud.
Yeah.
He really would. He was really looking forward to coming on this trip, and he was into adventures. He was into cycling and triathlons, and he'd be honored.
Will you guys do this again? Will you continue doing the ride? You have to.
I probably will. As a newbie, a lot of the guys are looking to pass the torch on to me. I want to do it again.
Good.
And I think maybe if Vinny gets his brake pads fixed, he'll be more than happy.
Well, our goal is to,
As people from the department retire, our goal is to try to get as many people involved as possible. And it's hard to do. People have obligations at home and different commitments. But if we could get 1 or 2 new people a year, we would like to keep it going.
Oh, you definitely need to keep it going. Thank you guys for being on the show with me this morning and sharing your story.
Great. Thank you very much.
For more information, check out the website on the bottom of the screen, and we're also going to show a quick clip of you guys arriving right there in Key West. Enjoy.
Sunset breakdown, cooler with the top down. Come on, babe, let's do it again. Here in Hollywood City, everyone is pretty, everybody is down with sin. I bought the gas, I paid for this high. So why do I feel like you're the one taking me for the ride? You didn't even shock me when you flashed a paparazzi, shook it like it was on fire. And every night it's nightclubs, getting tight and making love, always looking to get higher. You're using me for the money, I'm just using you. You like to shake it on me, and I like the